Critical hit Punch All Nazis takes place in the early days of World War II and combines high adventure with cosmic horror. All dates, locations, and historical events are thrown out the window in order to create a fun story, so don't put too much thought into historical inaccuracies. All accents are done poorly, but with love, and no disrespect is intended. You all limp back to Section M and the HQ. You are all badly beat up and injured and burned. You're going to have to convalesce, but as you are approaching HQ, you notice that big stone arch that has been slowly getting built up over the last year. You see a spark, and you see a big blue flash, and you see some people run around, and as you're going inside, you kind of hear this cry of disappointment rise up from everyone who's been working on that unit. You're all able to get some medical attention. You got some while you were on the boat, but you were able to get some more medical attention and heal up, so you can clear all your stress and get back 3 fortune. Some of you may have suffered scars or permanent injuries. Carlos, you have a scar on your lower back from having a torch thrust into it. I think Doc has a limp. Would have been more appropriate, I think, Valentino, if you had been the one to shove the torch into Carlos's back. But you are still badly burned on the arm. You have a scar there and another injury, right? You're missing a finger or something?
Missing a pinky, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and poor Blisco has a big old scar on his face. Isn't that right?
Oh yeah, I have a cheek scar.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
And you have a hankering for some human. That's still following you around.
A hankering that only a hand could satisfy.
Yeah. So is there anything that you guys do while you are recuperating?
I probably turn in the dagger for analysis and just spend some time probably mostly reading.
Ooh, can you do a will plus resilience for me, D2?
Can I use my Dauntless talent?
Yes, you may.
Okay.
2 successes.
2 successes.
Very good. You keep reading that King in Yellow play, but you have yet to crack that second act.
Yeah.
And there's comic books and pulp magazines and other things.
Yeah.
What about the rest of you? What do you do, Doc?
I was very badly injured, so I am probably going to be sleeping, and possibly, if we have any way to do like any type of physical therapy other than just wandering around the grounds and not getting shot.
Yeah, rubbing dirt on it is pretty much the general consensus.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's 1940. Rub some dirt on it, you'll be fine. Stiff upper lip and all of that.
I cannot think of anything specific other than that. So unless there's something where you're just like, hey, you should roll X plus Y to see what Z is.
What about you, Valentino?
Oh, probably do what I can to spend time with Antoine as much as I can.
Okay.
So pretty much from here, are we planning on just time to go into Germany, or what's the next?
Yeah, we got to get together and figure that out.
Okay. Because, might try figuring out some kind of intel that we can have on hand, but Yes, that might be more of a discussion for later.
Okay. Blisco, what about you?
I will go talk to what's his face, the guy who's been doing the dream research, the key research.
Dilbert? Yeah.
Dilbert, yeah. I will talk to Dilbert about I assume he wants more information about how well we traveled with the key and through the dreamlands and
Oh, yes, yes, Mr. Blisco. How was your adventure?
well, we mostly got there successfully.
Oh, what do you mean mostly?
I'll give him the details of how I didn't quite end up in the correct place, and I assume the others at least told me that about what happened with Carlos, because both Carlos and I failed to materialize to start with, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we both we're still here. Yeah, and then he got there, but brought a guy with him, and I got to the wrong spot.
Oh, that's very concerning. You were concentrating, right?
I was trying to.
And he looks through like he's like carrying like a giant notebook with him. Like this thing has to be like 200 plus pages of 8.5 by 11 type sheets that he's kind of put together himself. And he's just flipping through notes, and you see formulas, and you see diagrams, and you see big question marks, and you see things that are scratched out. And he's flipping through this, and he's like, huh, well, remember, it works best when you're familiar with the place that you want to go to. And obviously you guys only saw, a photograph. And so that probably wasn't enough to get you to your destination as easily. Huh. I don't know. Maybe it has to do with how people process their thoughts differently. And I've heard that some people, when you say the word apple, they only just see the word apple, and other people, when they hear the word apple, they can picture a fully formed apple in their head. I never liked apples myself. And he's just keeps going. So it's probably a concentration and familiarity thing. And he gets to a page in his notebook, and he turns his pencil over, and you see him rub out a big old thing and cross it out. And then he starts writing some stuff down of things that you've given him. This is all very good information. Thank you. Thank you.
Of course, you have been the most help on this, so anything we can
Oh,
get
yes.
you so we can try and do this better is worth doing.
Yes. Can I have the key, please? And he's like, his hands are now kind of, tips of his fingers are, clapping together like, ooh, can I have it, please, please, please?
Seems to be
Let me double
jonesing
check with
for
the brass,
key.
but I will bring it back if they say yes.
Oh, okay. That's excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And then I'm going to go find probably first Dutch, and then if he suggests otherwise, whoever he suggests otherwise.
All right. You go into the infirmary, and sure enough, there's Dutch lying on his stomach. He's kind of suspended because they don't want to. You got to keep the air circulating over the wound so it doesn't, I don't know, become infected or something. Yeah.
Look, Blisco, I'm Superman.
Hey, how we doing? How you doing?
Oh, I'm fine.
All right,
I'll be all right.
that's good. So I told Dilbert about what happened to us, but
Okay.
not quite making it there. And he's wanting to have the key back. Is that something
Okay.
we want to do?
I mean, he's kind of the lead on this, so
Okay.
you might as well, unless he's acting like really weird.
He seemed a little more eager than I would have expected.
Well, you got to remember, he has been ripped up by almost 0 tentacles.
That's fair. He did get lost in the Dreamlands with the key last time.
Yeah, maybe he saw something there, but I think he's as enthusiastic as he is because he hasn't seen anything real serious yet. So that doesn't sound suspicious to me.
Okay.
So, and he is kind of the lead. Technically, I think that key belongs to Doc. So if you want to talk to him, he might have a different opinion. But yeah, he's had it. We
That's
wouldn't have
fair.
gotten into the Dreamlands if it wasn't for him. So,
Okay. I'll go check with Doc then.
all right, carry on, citizen.
Get some rest.
Valentino, you had a couple of books that you took out of the library in Russia. What did you do with those?
Well, what kind of condition does Seraph seem to be in currently?
He is almost. You guys have been gone for about a week, so he's much better. He's still kind of laid up and taking it easy, but he is up and about for short periods of time.
Yeah, I think I might approach him and see if he maybe would want to keep him for safekeeping. And the only one I think that could read him would be Dutch in our group, and I don't know that necessarily he needs to be reading any more weird books.
Hello, Nathaniel. What can I do for you?
Hey, we managed to find a few books here, in our excursion to Russia.
Really?
Yes. Thought they might be of interest to you, and I think you might be the best one to keep a hold of them for safety's sake.
And he takes those from you and he looks at them. This book here, and he holds up the spell book of Yog-Sothoth. This is a very good find. I think this may be very helpful in our quest, in our mission. This is also a very dangerous book. Did you read from it?
Unfortunately, I don't know Russian, so I couldn't read.
All for the best, then.
Yeah.
Anything else happened of interest?
Quite a bit of stuff happened down there. You know, we fought Rasputin's ghost.
Really?
Yeah. Apparently, he was a member of the Illuminated Ones.
The Luminaries, you say?
The Luminaries, yes.
That's curious because it seems like people who are tasked to protect these things, the Count Duke J. Michael T., this Mario and the Luigi, they seem to have lived very long time.
Yeah. Mr. Underhill.
Mr. Underhill is another good example.
Yeah.
Have you given thought to why that might be?
No, I guess I really haven't thought too much on that.
Now you have dispatched this Luigi, and you know the whereabouts of the Count Duke J. Michael T.
Yeah.
Where is he?
Where was that?
Romania.
Romania. Okay, yeah.
It's interesting. I've been aware that the Brigadier has sent a command there to see if they can get him to join our cause, but he has disappeared. His entire castle is empty of occupants. And the Mr. Underhill, do you know what has happened to him?
Since we last seen him, no, I don't know anything that's happened since that.
Interesting. And he leans in. Seems you're not informed of what your own organization is up to. I would watch my back.
Yeah, we'll have to be cautious, I suppose. I'm a little afraid that we're getting to the point where getting ready to go towards the heart of the woods and right into enemy territory. You have any suggestions or advice for
Don't
that
die.
excursion? Yeah, that's some good advice.
I would make sure that you are thoroughly prepared with the spells that would be needed if you are to truly open the doorway to Carcosa. And when he says that, the lights in the room kind of dim and flicker.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I suppose I should brush up on that.
Yes, and remember, if you have trouble pronouncing a specific word, just go with your gut and what feels right. Oftentimes, the incantations and the things that are actually said are not as important as the feeling and the effort put in to the magic. It can be quite draining, though.
Let's see.
All magic comes with a cost.
Yeah, that's why I maybe have not been so keen on learning that as much as I possibly could have been, but yeah. Guess I'll hit the books and try at least figure this one out.
Very good, young Braxton. And I'm sure that when the time comes, you will have the protections you need.
Thank you.
In the meantime, please do me a favor and tell no one that I have this book.
All right. Keep it to ourselves.
Good day, sir.
Yeah, you do you as well. I suppose with that, I'll start figuring out what I can do to learn the rituals that we're gonna need to open the way.
Well, the good thing is, Antoine is more than happy to help you go over the spells and go through the notes and everything, and help you with the what he considers the proper pronunciation of everything. So that's a plus.
Yeah.
Doc, you happen to have a couple of books you've hidden on your body. What have you done with those?
What have I done with those books? Let's see. I know I have the second book, the diary, and honestly, I have been torn about whether I want to get in with that or not, because as strange as it has been, after that interaction with the dream or the hallucination or whatever it was of Dr. West, I feel like things have been better. And I have this feeling that not opening another book of that kind would be a good idea, because I kind of feel like something might be going on. And I'm watching and going, hey, all of my colleagues are getting weirder and stranger and more arcane. And I'm like, maybe that's bad. So yeah, I haven't actually read the new book, but
I bet there's answers that you seek are in there.
I know, that's what worries me. I have reread the notes that I already have to see what questions there might be that are left unanswered in case I do ever look at them.
Yeah, I'm sure questions like why doesn't this formula work? How fresh does the body have to be?
Right.
Does it have to be someone that I'm in love with?
Why does
be a family member
on catting? Yeah.
Where is the cat?
Well, and I figure at this point it's been about 4 years, so everyone that I love is pretty much dead at this point. But just in case somebody else needs to not be dead, see, I'm having this argument with myself, and myself sounds remarkably like a red-haired guy from Kansas who wants me to read the books. And I feel like that's suspicious.
Oh no, this is just your conscious having a conversation with you. Pay no attention to anything that I say. The voices that you hear in your head are simply long lost memories of days gone by when you were happier, reading forbidden tomes and going against the wishes of the university,
Mm-hmm.
murdering your girlfriend.
Right. I did not murder my girlfriend. Thank you.
You almost.
I was actually attempting to almost not. It was actually the opposite of murder. It was red rum. And as everybody knows, when there's red rum, you need an axe. Here's Nikki. Okay, so yeah, I'm probably going to read that second book, but I haven't yet.
Okay. Anything else? Look, here comes Blisco, Doc. He looks to be pretty happy.
Blisco. Oh, must have been something good in the commissary. What?
That tracks.
Mm-hmm. Sandwiches
all the meat,
today.
all the meat pies that you really were looking forward to. You just can't eat any of the meat pies. They're too cooked.
This is getting concerning. Anyways,
what's getting concerning?
Did I tell them about the ghoul meal that I had while we were in Russia?
I don't think you went into it.
I don't believe so.
Cooked meat is becoming less and less satisfying.
You're gonna be one of those health guys, like Jack LaLanne, where you're just like eating all the vegetables and doing your subs. Get yourself one of those machines that has like the band that I hear that'll just like whoosh, like pull the fat right off you is what I heard.
No, the meat just needs to be less cooked.
Okay. So let me clarify briefly. You're saying you're craving raw meat.
Yes.
We probably we may want to go and mention. Why don't we go down to the Boffins and maybe just tell them, hey, yeah, the raw meat worries me. You remember that kid in Paris, the one who couldn't find his dog?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they ate the dog, dude.
Oh. All right, well, while we're on the way down there, I have the Dreamlands key still, and Dilbert's wanting it back. Dutch mentioned it was yours, and I figured I should check with you.
I don't necessarily feel like I own it, but I also kind of feel like, don't you think Dilbert maybe is a little too invested in it? I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand it, the thrill of science and everything, but
That was kind of my concern too.
yeah, I feel like either you guys are making less sense or I'm making more, but either way, it's a disturbing place to be. Also, I don't know that we should necessarily. Why don't we see how Dilbert does without it for a little while? And if it turns into one of those, slavering, gibbering kind of give me the key situations, we'll know. Good plan. And then, yeah, let's try it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll stash it here in my coat. I got a gun in here. I got a rutabaga. Don't look at that. That's the diary.
Diary?
Yeah, diary of Dr. West. Don't you remember? Did I not mention that?
I don't remember you mentioning it.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, it was one of the things that popped up when we were at the asylum. You remember how we found all the interesting things.
Oh,
And
right.
yeah. So, I'm not saying that Dilbert's not the only one who maybe shouldn't have, hey, let's go down and talk to the boss.
All right.
Doc's a little scattered today.
Yeah.
Well-
So Blisco, you go down and you talk to the scientists that are very familiar with your case, and they seem very interested that when you were in the Dreamlands, you were offered the hand and you took a bite out of it, and they again rush around and they bring you all sorts of different meats in various stages of being cooked. At one point, there's some raw fish. I don't know how you feel about raw fish.
I try it.
Yum 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 yum. This would be really good with rice. Then they bring you like just like a seared steak. Like it's got the it's crusty on the outside, but it's pretty much raw on the inside.
Yeah.
That one's pretty good. That's like the rawest steak you've had in a long time, and you really, really like it. The boiled chicken, not so good. And then the pork, they really insist on making sure the pork is fully cooked, because they're like, oh, we're not sure you should really eat raw pork. Blisco, you could get worms from that, and those things can burrow into your head. That would be a bad thing.
Would be a bad thing. But also, this tastes terrible.
Yes, I would imagine it does. And they quickly dispose of that. How do you feel about nuts and berries?
I'll eat them.
Yeah, not too bad. How do you feel about lettuce?
I mean, let's go eat just about anything put in front of him.
Oh yeah, lettuce is okay too.
Well, the plants are all good.
Yeah, it'd be nicer if these plants were bloodier, but yeah.
So maybe it's a protein thing.
Yeah.
Oh, good observation there, Mr. Helias. And so they go and they get some eggs, and they bring you back a cooked egg and a raw egg. Cooked egg, not so good. The raw egg, you can have a couple of these every morning and be okay.
Hey.
We've been developing a way for soldiers in the field to get enough energy to be able to do their commands without the worry of broken eggs or broken packets. These rations that we've been sending out, well, first of all, they don't taste very good, and the other scientist just looks and says, "Agreed, they're nasty." We've developed this powder that is basically 100% protein. We've added a little vanilla extract into this. Here, and he pours it into some raw milk fresh from the cow, stirs it up for you. This actually tastes really good.
Yeah, take the first couple of sips and then just down it.
Yeah. This protein powder would probably do very well for your soldiers.
By soldiers, I mean myself. I am a soldier.
Yeah. And all soldiers. Well, of course, we mean all soldiers. We're hoping Lord Towton will let us file for a patent on this so that we can maybe make a little money with this protein powder stuff. And Dilbert walks through, and he's just scribbling in his paper, and he's shaking his head. It's all sawdust. It's all make-believe. Don't believe what they're saying. And he walks out of the room again. He's just passing through from his lab to the outside.
It's all sawdust.
I mean, no. It's made of real protein. We take protein and we dry it out and we pound it into little tiny things. Looks like sawdust, but guarantee you we have nothing but good intentions with this. You can see one of the other scientist guy is just like angry, and you can tell he's mad at Dilbert for trying to sabotage their plans to make a buck after the war's over.
I'd be upset too if one of my colleagues was telling me I was just wrong.
That
So,
was out
yeah,
of character.
Dutch, you're able to walk around, if you want. It's a little painful, but you're fine.
Yeah.
Just they want to keep an eye on you in case there's any other mysterious black flare-ups on your skin.
Yeah, okay. I'll wander around.
Yeah, the compound is really prepping for. I mean, there are like daily air raids that have been going on. Germany is just flying over and pounding the crap out of England, and the people are trying to, remain calm and keep a stiff upper lip. There are sandbags packed all around the buildings, as probably about 5 feet high. They've got sandbags piled up to help protect the buildings from any kind of shrapnel or explosive. The soldiers are now all wearing their helmets outside 24/7. But still, life on the estate goes on. There are still people planting vegetables. There are still people, cleaning cars. There are still people working on building new buildings on the estate. That big stone arch thing that they've been working on has even more wires and cables running all over it. And yeah, so you're able to get out and about and visit wherever you like.
Okay. I guess mostly Dutch would be most interested at this stage in knowing what we know about German movement within Germany. Like,
Interesting. So yeah. So what kind of specific questions might you have about those kind of troop movements?
so we know that the last item is in the Black Forest,
Okay.
which is a pretty large area.
Yes.
Or at least that's what we think we know, but I think it's been corroborated.
Well, I think I think the only thing that you're missing is the ring, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Well,
Yeah,
no, we're
so
also missing the flute, which they have.
which
And
they have, sure.
so we know the opening to Carcosa's in the Black Forest, right?
That's what you understand.
Okay.
Yeah, there are all sorts of so this map of Germany is laid out. And on it, they have regular Nazi troop movements. There seems to be a very strong supply line going from Berlin all the way into Paris. That thing seems to be very secure. Then you notice that there are also Nazis amassing on the border going into Russia. And it looks like there's about to be an invasion there. But then here and there, you see these scattered little black symbols of a sun. For the Black Sun, obviously.
Yeah.
And then you see these little wolf heads that are dotted all over the map. Now, the Black Sun stuff seems to congregate in a couple of places. There's Nuremberg, where there's a lot of occult activity that goes on. Same way with Berlin. Because you've probably been through Germany at least once, that Vivasburg is an SS occult stronghold, and so they've got a little SS symbol there. Hamburg has surprisingly a lot of Black Sun. Dresden has a lot of the wolf symbols there, and then let's see. Is it Quinsburg? Quidlinburg. That's how I'm going to pronounce it. Some German out there will correct me.
Mm-hmm.
That seems to be near the Black Forest. Let me just double check. But you do see a couple of smaller villages in the Black Forest that are listed there, and you also notice that in some of these places you see kind of these squares, and these are squares like little cubes, and they have an A on them, and you see these dotted all over France. You see them dotted in Italy. You see them dotted in Germany. You see them in Spain, and those are just kind of scattered across the map as well. And in some places, it looks like there are some Black Sun movement in those cities, in those places. And in others, it just looks like there's regular Nazi movement going in and out of these places. When you enter the Brigadier, is like, Carlos, you're up and about. Very good, very good. How are you feeling? No side effects.
Nope. I think I'm getting there.
Good to hear. So there are some troubles, some things that we're at. We're kind of at a crossroads, so to speak. We have a number of the artifacts that we need to open the gateway to Carcosa, but unfortunately, the Black Sun appear to have several as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we could just call this a draw and just leave it at that, and we will be in a stalemate, a cold war, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a feeling that as we have seen Nazi infiltrators into England, that I'm sure we would have them try to attack the estate and try to make off with those artifacts if they could. So I don't think this conflict is over, and somehow we're going to have to gather all of the artifacts together.
Right.
Get to Carcosa and destroy the Key of Solomon.
Right. Yeah, I think that's the best way to go about it.
Is to make an advance into Germany.
Yep. Try to get it open. But the problem with that is that, I mean, we are missing 2 of the items. So unless we know that they're going to be like there, or we can get them on the way in somehow, then going to where the door opens is not going to do us much good if we don't have all of them.
Right. It's something we've been puzzling ever since you took your mission to Russia, and we saw how that turned out. We could assign you Badger's commandos, and you could all go in a big raid. But that's likely to leave most of you dead.
Yeah.
There's spycraft, but that also has had its own issues.
Right. I mean, we do have access to the Dreamlands, so getting into Germany, like within Germany's borders, is probably not as big of a problem, seeing as how I'm actually pretty familiar with a lot of the cities in Germany.
Yes.
But we need to know exactly where these things are.
Mm-hmm.
The flute was taken by, don't think I wrote down. I think it was Black Sun.
Yes.
And then the final piece, the ring, I believe my father has that ring.
Interesting. How long do you think he's had that?
I don't know. A long time. There was a picture of him with the ring, and I think that was painted possibly before I was born. Steven, unless that's not the
Yeah,
case.
no, I mean that's fine. Yeah, it's
Sure.
but your father's been an industrialist for
Sure.
decades.
Yeah, these items have been rolling around for a long time, so somehow it came to his possession, and it has been in his possession for a long time.
Yes, we have heard from Professor Smith, Dr. Smith. He said the flute is not where he thought it was going to be, and he speculates that the Black Sun have taken it to the gateway, wherever that's at.
Right. Um, there is a possibility of um, that these items are close to the gateway because they are expecting us, rightfully so, to show up with all the other items and try to steal those from them and open the gateway, meaning that
Mhm.
they could just wait for us to bring them, beat us up, and then use the items to open the gateway, right?
Yes. Would be the way to
So,
do it, yes.
so unfortunately, that seems to be what we have to do unless we come up with some other way, unless we get like some really solid intel on the ring and the flute.
Well, we
I
have
think
tried to get spies into Germany as much as we can. Unfortunately, it's difficult, but we have French resistance that are helping us out, and Dr. Smith is still embedded with the Black Sun. So yes, we're trying to find that information as quickly as we can.
okay. Yeah, if we can get some intel on that, that would be best. Um, but I would imagine that unless we get some really excellent intelligence and then we go there and we execute on that perfectly, more than likely there's going to be a fight at the gates. And then whoever wins is going to open the door.
Yes. Good. Well, not good, but it's so much to contemplate. I liked war when it was just shoot the other guy.
Well, I'm starting to think that this has always been going on. It's just a difference of knowing and not knowing.
Yes.
So I guess I also liked it better when I didn't know, but honestly, half the time we have the advantage just because of Valentino's mask.
Oh, yes, very much so. And I've heard that knowing is half of the battle, so
Right.
yes. Okay, very good. Well, let's keep our ear to the ground and see what might pop up.
Okay. Go eat something.
All right. So you're sitting there and you're eating, and after a little while, one of the operator women that you know,
Mm-hmm.
she comes up to you and it's like, Carlos,
Hi.
your father is on the phone and he wants to speak to you.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take that call. Can you tell the brigadier that that's happening?
He's already aware.
Okay. All right. I'll follow her to if she's taking me to a specific phone or just
Yeah, she's taking you to a private phone, but it's clear you can see through the window of this booth that they have you sitting in that the brigadier and others are all watching you intently.
Yeah. I'll bring out like a pad and paper. Hello?
Carlos?
Hey.
Carlos, my boy, it's your father.
Yeah, how are you doing?
Not so good. Listen, I've been doing things. As you know, I've been building weapons. I've been building factories, and Hitler talks a good game. He really does.
Sure.
I thought that really if we sided with him, that when all of this is over, that we would have a position of great power in his empire, and that we would be able to spread our factories and our goods around the world and be even better. But Carlos, I never thought that they would turn on me.
Oh, I see.
I'm in big trouble, and actually your mother is in big trouble as well. They've got her, and if you don't bring the artifacts, they're going to kill her, and then they're going to kill me.
Okay. All right.
I mean, I have no idea why the Nazis would suddenly turn on us like that.
Oh, really? You just could not fathom it?
I mean, I can understand them going after the other guy, but not me.
Right. Yeah. No, totally. I definitely I'm not going to go into whether one of us told the other one so.
Yes,
but,
I'm sure. I'm sure. I just your mother, Carlos. I'm very worried that they're going to murder her if we don't get the artifacts in the next 24 hours.
I mean, that's why I'm even still on the phone with you. Where do they want us to bring them, and when?
We just built a new factory not too long ago in the city of Call. Calw. I'm sure someone will correct my pronunciation. Maybe it's Calf.
Alv. Gorp.
So yes, it is a small city in the Black Forest. We were building munitions there so that we could ship them down through Italy and out into the Mediterranean, and then into Africa.
Right.
We were shipping from Kalp to our warehouse in Vienna.
Are you in Kalp right now, or in Vienna?
Yes, I am. I'm. They've got a gun to me, right to my head.
Well, what type?
It's a Luger.
Oh, okay.
And you hear some sound in the background. Oh, Carlos, please, Carlos.
All right. When do they want us to bring them?
They want it in 24 hours.
Okay.
Please, Carlos, please.
Sure. Any other things that they've told you or stipulated?
No, they just said, tell your worthless son to bring the artifacts to our factory, and they'll let us go. And if you don't meet the deadline, they're going to kill your mother and me.
Right.
And who knows, if they get to America, they might even kill your cousin.
Oh. I mean, yep, sure. I mean, not to get into all the people that we know that they've already killed in Poland and Germany and France.
Yes, but they're not us.
Right. Okay. All right. I guess we'll be there within 24 hours.
Oh, thank you, Carlos. Your mother and I thank you so much. And I swear if we get out of this, I will be a better person.
Okay. I believe you.
Thank you, Carlos. That means a lot.
Yep. Tell Mom I'm coming.
Yes, I will. And you hear the phone move away from your father's mouth, and you hear 24 hours. The clock is ticking now. And then the line goes dead.
Okay. I'll hang up and go to where I'm guessing a lot of people have gathered outside the office.
Oh, yes. The Brigadier is standing there. Towton is standing there. What's her name is standing there.
Sally
Armitage is standing there. Well, Carlos,
I hand him the notebook. So they're holding my parents hostage. They want us to bring all of the items to our factory in Calv within 24 hours.
I see. And Towton is like, I'm not sure that taking all of the artifacts to them is such a smart idea.
We were discussing the military implications of doing that and not doing that earlier. Let's get the boys in here and talk about it.
Okay. So everybody can gather in the library, and sure enough, this big map of Germany is laid out. And sure enough, down in the south western part of Germany, there in the Black Forest, there's a little town called Kalp. And there is a block with a big A on it, and Black Sun troops around it. And when you get in, one of the researchers is going over it and discussing with the Brigadier stuff, and you hear them say birthplace of madness comes up.
Okay.
But you're not really sure what that is, but they all kind of get really quiet when the four of you enter the room. So, everybody is there. Anybody that you need to talk to or discuss is there.
Okay. What are the A cubes? That's one that I don't.
Those would be the Arbogast factories.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was Apocalypse myself.
Yeah, I was like trying to figure out because it's like we have like something for Nachtwolf and something for Black Sun and something for the SS, and I was like, I don't remember a Cube A like Nazi arm.
Yeah, these are the Arbogast factories.
Okay.
And you notice, now that you've had this conversation with your father. Oh yeah, the last time you and your father spoke, you knew that a lot of these places were either being developed or were already in place. And so, yes, now this map makes a lot more sense.
Okay. All right. So, I spoke to my father, who is a close and personal collaborator with the Führer.
Yes, and they do. The brigadier is like, yes, we are quite aware that he has received the highest honor that Hitler could to give.
He has. They are now holding him and my mother hostage, and they want us to bring all the items here. And I'll point at the factory.
Mm-hmm. Everybody looks at each other with like questioning glances back and forth.
They said to bring them within 24 hours or they'll kill them both.
I see. It seems like they're Towton is like, well, it seems like they're turning on each other very quickly. And Sally's like, maybe this means that the various factions will eat themselves up and we won't have to worry about this anymore. Maybe the war will be over soon.
Yeah. They really haven't cared for collateral damage when they were fighting against us, so it's probably going to be pretty bad when they fight amongst themselves. I think we still have to worry about it.
We do.
Yes.
So I am trying to keep a cool head about this.
Mm-hmm.
As you might expect, this is fairly stressful for me. So we should discuss a plan of action, and if we know where the doorway is, I'm guessing it's probably not too far away from this place.
That's pretty reasonable to think, yes. And you see some people rush out of the room and other people rush up to the bookshelves and start scouring through things. You see a couple of what look like telecommunications people rush out of the room as well.
Yeah. Yeah, thoughts.
Do we know anything about this city of Kalf? other than a factory?
It's pretty small, but and it's in the Black Forest, so it's in a mountainous region and a forested region.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I know about it.
Yep, it's the capital and largest town in the district of Cowell.
There you go.
Let's see what else. It is. It goes as far back. It's a very old city, going all the way back to 1037.
Which is
There.
good for our theory.
Yep. It was important, a commercial town for cloth and leather trade. And yeah, it's now part of Nazi Germany.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. So that's what we know about it.
Population 1939, about 6,000 people.
So because the doorway is likely to be nearby, the last two items that we need are also likely nearby. They almost certainly have the ring there since my father had it. Although I guess they could have tried to move it someplace safer. But if I was them, I would lure us there, kill us, and then immediately turn around and use the items. The longer you wait, the more likely there is to be problems and errors, right? And more likely for, what are you guys calling yourselves now? Just allies?
Oh, of course, yes. Why
Well,
wouldn't we be?
No. That's a fine name.
And Sally is like, I know that England tried to rule us once and we've broken away, but I just feel like our ties are stronger than ever and always will be that way.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. For the allies to, like, if we go there and they kill us and they take the items, I'm sure the Brits have it in them to do one bombing run. So they probably wouldn't necessarily risk that.
The spell book, do you think that they would be able to do the complete ritual?
I think I got as good a grasp on it as I'm gonna.
So you think you are the only one that can do it?
Right now, yeah. I don't think anyone else has enough, studied it enough to pull it off.
Yes, and part of it is that you have to wear that mask of yours.
There's that. The other person I know that's tried, it didn't go well. So, yeah.
Yes, that serves her right. Yes, so that means that they're not going to kill you right away if they need at least one of you.
Oh, that's true.
What other thoughts are racing through your heads? And one person comes rushing into the room, and they have what looks to be a photograph, and they all lay down. The photograph is put down in the map. It's a nice big glossy 8x10, and sure enough, it is a picture of the Arbogast factory, but it's from down the street. So it's like a couple of blocks away.
Mm-hmm. Just kind of like at an angle.
Yes. And you're kind of familiar with this street a little bit, Carlos, but you would definitely, if you focused hard enough, very much like with going to Russia, you could probably all land yourselves pretty close to this exact same spot.
Now the question is, could we land there quietly enough to pull off something?
Well, what do you suggest?
So they probably need Valentino for this. So they're not going to kill him.
Yes.
But the rest of us don't really have that. Yeah, we don't really have that assurance. I'm trying to think. They want the items. Could we potentially give them at least one fake. And
I don't suppose we got any or kept a fake orb from the museum, have we?
I don't
No,
know.
I don't think
We
so. Did you?
we lost track of that back in France.
Ah, darn.
So I don't like we as players, we left that place and then like whatever happened. So I don't know if anybody still has it, but I don't think so.
Some other people come in and they start drawing lines, and it's Antoine, and he comes in and they're drawing lines all over the place based on some measurements that they have, and they're like, "Oh yes, this makes sense now. We are triangulating." That's science talk, sirs, where we take a couple of known points and we draw lines between them and see where they intersect. And sure enough, the orb is pointing right to. And if we had a bigger map, we think it's pointing right to the factory.
Okay. Well, we have a few options. Option one is we go there half-cocked and try to fight our way through and hope for the best. Option two, we try to pull off some sort of shenanigans, but we have 24 hours to plan and execute it. Probably 23 by now. The last option, I think, is like potentially try to like coordinate some sort of strike.
And Telton and the Brigadier is like, yes, if we went through the Dreamlands, could we get a whole battalion just suddenly appearing there, and we could just storm the factory? I mean, if the gateway is as you guys have described it, and as Dilton, where's Dilton? I'm here, sir, and he's scratching and scribbling in his notebook. If it is as you describe it, we could potentially get 1,000 men through.
Okay, that would definitely change the timbre of things.
I mean, you didn't have that many problems, right?
No, traveling through there was not completely problem-free, but definitely having done it once, it makes it a lot easier now. We kind of know what not to do.
Do you think you could get soldiers all trained and prepared for what's on the other side?
No, not in 24 hours. So we're gonna need some brave boys and girls.
Okay. Brave boys and girls, we'll add that to the list.
If we show up and strike, it's very likely that they'll just kill the hostages because that would just be easiest, right? They don't have to worry about it.
That's what I would think.
Yeah. So I would like a small opportunity to try to throw a wrench into that. Maybe at first make it appear like we're going to do the trade and then have the strike happen. At least long enough for us to be able to get a lay of how things are set up.
Yes,
we're gonna appear there, so they might know right away. So it might not work, but yeah, we can basically hide for a few minutes while we get a lay of what's going on in the factory. That would at least give us a chance to try to get my parents out. And because yes, I know that this is like some crazy magical stuff and it's very important, but retrieving my father as an asset would be huge for the mundane side of the war, at least.
Yes, yes, yes. We could certainly use his weapons. If he would be willing to cooperate with us.
Oh, I'm sure he would.
And then Sally says, "You know, we have an opportunity to perform the ritual, to get to Carcosa, to destroy the Key of Solomon. This might be the
Yes.
best chance we have."
I would agree.
I'm willing to follow you into this at this point.
Oh, good.
I want to check that you're definitely considering everything logically since it is your parents involved.
I'm trying to right now I think I'm in a pretty stable place in that I'm worried about my mom, but it sounds like they roughed up my dad, so kind of a 50-50 type situation.
Right,
So yeah, I would like a few minutes at least to be able to ascertain where they are. And this does mean that probably I and Valentino at least would need to go in by ourselves with all the artifacts, or at least something that looks like all the artifacts.
Yeah, it's going to probably take all four of you to carry the tablet.
Yeah. So,
I mean, what if we were like, if I, just were to go with like a grenade in hand with the pin pulled, tell them if they let the hostages go, we can perform the ritual for them. And then hopefully at the culmination, then have our troops storm and we can try to go in and destroy the artifacts.
So that could work. My concern is that our troops are going to show up and then we're going to have to keep them hidden for however long that takes.
Maybe.
So that would be my only concern with that plan. Other than that, I think it sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, would they maybe be able to hold out in the Dreamlands until?
Potentially, if we, I don't know. I don't know that we can guide them there because I know the area. Yeah. So they would potentially need me to get there. Dilbert might be able to guide them there from a photograph.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly a possibility, but from what I understand, you lost a couple of people during this last process. I mean, you didn't come back with everybody.
That's true. Yeah. So, okay, that's all right. If you're not,
it depends on if everybody has got a good, strong mental fortitude. I don't see why you couldn't get at least half of them to the right location.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, I like, Dutch does a kind of like hand wave to the brigadier and be like, okay, well, let's calculate for getting half of them there.
Oh, yes, that's a lot of soldiers. I'm going to have to take this up the ladder to see if we can just waste lives like that. Yes, okay. Why don't we break for, and he looks at his watch. I know time is tight, but 2 hours, see what other intelligence we can gather and come back and maybe launch this plan. Have you thought about going in early, not hitting the 24-hour deadline?
I mean,
surprise tactic.
I mean, I assumed we wouldn't show up right at the 24-hour deadline, although it's I mean, it's a soft deadline. They're setting that deadline. It's not like there's like the moon has to be aligned or anything. So yeah, we could show up anytime between now and then if we thought that was a good idea.
Yes. Okay. Well, let's all break and think about that. Yes. Go team.
All right.
Sally and the Brigadier and Towton are all, they're all mumbling and whispering together in a corner. And then Sally is like, Elias, could I see you a moment, please?
Me?
Yes. That is your name, isn't it?
It is, yes. Of course. I'm just surprised.
And so follow me, please.
All right.
And she takes you into her office and closes the door. How well do you know Carlos's family?
By reputation, mostly. I know we've met his cousin. I rather liked his butler.
Mm-hmm.
What are we getting at?
Does Carlos speak kindly about his family? I guess what I'm getting at is Carlos compromised because his family is in this predicament? Is he thinking clearly? Is he rushing us into a situation where we lose?
I don't believe so. In fact, I would say that with the father involved, you may actually be looking at the opposite. As with
That also concerns us too.
I don't believe
we've
he's
known about Carlos and his father for a long time. There is a rather large file on Carlos Arbogast.
What exactly are you asking me?
Do you trust him?
Implicitly.
Do you think he will double cross?
No.
This is coming from a man who tried to kill his girlfriend.
I
would
not
say
try to kill anyone.
we opened the door and you had an axe. She was tied down. Listen, I'm just saying that he may not be thinking correctly. He may jeopardize this entire mission to save his mother and his father. I would just be very careful about following him blindly into this situation.
With respect, Miss Armitage, were it your own father at risk, how would you proceed?
My father was never a Nazi collaborator, so I would have a very good head on my shoulders if he were in trouble.
And would it surprise you that I would trust Carlos Arbogast considerably further than I would trust you?
That does not surprise me, considering your past history.
I see. Well, here's what you need to know. There are 4 of us. Each of us has our role. When Carlos was possibly compromised during our last mission, I was prepared to deal with that situation. I will continue to be prepared to deal with that situation. I do not in any way believe that it's going to happen.
What do you mean prepared to deal with the situation? You mean, are you prepared to kill him?
I am a soldier.
Is that what you're saying? Well, okay then. Carry on. She waves her hand to dismiss you out of the room.
Right. She doesn't know Greek curses, does she?
I wouldn't try it.
No, I'm just saying if she heard them under my breath as I was exiting the room.
I mean, they still have court martials. She is your superior officer.
Pfah! Pfah! All right. I'm going to make sure, as we exit her room, are there any fire axes about?
Probably not.
Okay. All right. Well, that was decidedly unpleasant. Although I don't know what else I expected.
What do you do, Valentino?
I think hit the books. Just try to make sure I know this ritual note for note.
Okay, is Antoine there with you?
Yeah, I'll use
Okay.
any help I can get to.
Oh, I'm just so distraught about Mr. Carlos and his father. That's horrible. Now,
Yeah.
of course, if it was your father, I would probably not go to help.
That'd probably be two of us. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they're kind of birds of a feather, unfortunately. But with his mother there, that is a somewhat different story.
Why is his
Nonetheless,
mother there?
well, you can't help the one you love.
Yes, I understand that completely.
Yeah.
The music swells. Okay, we really need to make sure that this is right and that you know when to do all of the things. At least we have the notes from your strange experience in Romania.
Yeah, I suppose.
All right, Blisco. Coming up with a
Probably.
plan.
Blisco is letting other people do the heavy lifting on the thinking front, and
okay.
is probably just going to use the break to actually calm himself and relax before everything starts to, because everything is starting to come to a head, right? So he's just going to go find something that can keep him occupied to not have to worry about what exactly is going on for the moment. Taking apart and putting guns back together. If there's, depending on how long the break is, probably going and getting either food or going to the garage and doing something until it's time to come back.
Okay. So you're doing those things, and suddenly, Mr. Blisco, and you see Dilbert running up to you.
Yeah.
I was just going through my notes again of everything that you've turned in and reported. You said that the ghouls were not aggressive towards you.
Not at all.
Have you ever talked to them, had a conversation with them, like extended?
Yeah. Well, probably not an extended conversation, but I've talked with them a couple of different times.
How do they view you? Do they view you as food? Because I know when I had to run away from them, they certainly viewed me as food.
It's been a while since. Have I ever actually been attacked by the ghouls in the Dreamlands?
Nope.
I've never been attacked by the ghouls in the Dreamlands, only in the real world.
Huh, interesting. I have a theory, but I don't know if we have time.
What's that?
We should go to the Dreamlands and talk to the ghouls.
All right.
You have the key? We could go now.
I gave it back to Doc.
Can you get it back?
Maybe.
Excellent.
Possibly. We can go
Excellent.
talk to Doc.
Maybe you should just go talk to him. Get the key, and then we can go to the soft spot. Yes, the soft spot.
You're sure you're about this, Dilbert?
I'm not sure about anything, but science, The only way to make sure that you're right is by testing it.
All right. I'll go talk to Doc.
Yes, excellent. Excellent.
Looks like we're gonna get the key to the Dreamlands back, Precious. Yes, Precious, we are.
I am going to go talk to Doc about it. But it is definitely just telling him about the entire conversation and asking if he thinks this is even remotely a good idea.
So Blisco arrives. Blisco says, "Hey, dude wants to do this."
Yeah. Dilbert wants me to take him to the Dreamlands so we can talk to the ghouls about my current condition.
To what end?
However, to find some answers.
I think he wants you to try and get the ghouls to help us.
Oh,
For additional allies?
Did I misread that?
I don't know if you misread that or not, unfortunately. I did not read that into it.
Well, fortunately, you can just go back and talk to him. So,
Yeah. Okay. He wants to have an extended conversation with the ghouls to help. I don't know what to help with. But he also seemed very needy on getting back to the Dreamlands in the soft spot.
Do you trust him?
I trust Dilbert. I don't know that I trust this thought. I don't know if I trust his need to be in the Dreamlands right now.
Sometimes the lure of the arcane can be seditious. If you think it's a good idea, I would say yes. I don't know about going alone, but I also feel like we have a lot of ducks to get in a very small row.
I guess I'll take the key and go talk to him. And if we can coordinate to not have to split everybody up, I'll grab some more people.
I was going to say, even if you go alone, you should be prepared to act if Dilbert's motives turn out to be driven by some sort of strange magic lust rather than an actual attempt to do something.
All right.
I'm not saying that you shouldn't go alone, which probably is the best indicator that you shouldn't. But I've learned to deal with my own stressors. Yes. Here's the key. Remember, you have to refill it with gas if you take it without permission.
All right. So you go back outside, and waiting in a Jeep for you is Dilbert. Oh, did you get it, sir?
Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. Hop in. We'll go now.
Just the two of us?
Yep, just the two of us. You and me.
All right. Scoot over.
No, I'll drive. I know the way.
Blisco just stands there blinking for a few moments because this has not happened in however long we've been running around doing this.
Yeah. Why don't you do me a will plus persuasion? We'll make this a D1.
2 successes.
Hey, 2 successes. Get a momentum back. You stand there tapping your foot, and Dilbert gets the message, and he slides over into the passenger side. All right, all right. Can I hold the key while you drive?
Sure.
Oh, thank you. And he takes it. He takes it, and the entire trip, he's just looking at it in his hands, and he's just,
Yeah.
like, looking at it and trying to analyze it like he's trying to peer deep into the key, and occasionally he'll be like, "Uh-huh, yes, perfect." And then you guys arrive at the soft spot. "Let's go, Mr. Blisco.
Yep.
We're
I'll
gonna have an adventure."
need the key back, Dilbert.
"Yes, of course." And he hands it to you, and he goes running down into the trench. They've actually, in the time that you guys were last there, they've cut steps
straight to
down into the area. Yeah.
Yep. I will charge in after him, because if he gets back there and there's something problematic, I do have my guns with me.
Okay.
Just to, like, yeah. Doc gave the warning of if you make sure you've got stuff ready to go, and I was like, all right, and because if things go sideways, I'm gonna have to protect the crazy doctor.
Okay.
And or kill him, whichever.
I don't want to think about that one.
That's why I said and or.
Time's running short. Time's running short.
Yeah, I mean, I'm bounding right behind him. I'm probably faster than him, since,
Yeah.
like he probably got a few steps in there, and I was right on top of him at that point.
Okay. You get up to the soft spot.
Yep. Do the same thing we did before heading to Russia.
Okay.
No.
You start to push in just enough, and the doorway opens, and Dilbert kind of just rushes through. Bloop.
Yep.
Disappears. And you go rushing through, and bloop, you disappear. And you are standing on this vast grassland. All around you is grass, rolling hills. Far off in the distance, you see mountains rising up higher and higher into the sky. And way perched atop one of those towers looks to be a great, castle, or, yeah, castle. We'll say castle. Yeah.
Is it a familiar castle?
Oh, yeah, you've seen this before.
Just
Or at least
the
one
castle
of you have seen it in your dreams. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, from your dreams. Oh, look. Now we can really see it this time.
Yeah.
And Dilbert is like looking around. I thought he was going to be here.
He?
Yeah. And at that moment, you hear kind of like this galloping, or gallop. Just the ground is kind of shaking, and cresting over one of the hills are just hundreds of ghouls coming your way. Critical Hit Punch All Nazis is a production of Major Spoilers Entertainment and was produced and edited by me, Steven Schleicher. If you would like to get a behind-the-scenes making of this episode, be sure to check out the GM Roundtable Octoon Cthulhu Edition at our Patreon page, patreon.com/Major Spoilers. Each week I discuss my plans for the upcoming game session, and Dr. Brad Will is there to share his reactions and advice on how to be a better game master. I will warn you, though, there are spoilers galore in every installment of the GM Roundtable Octoon Cthulhu Edition. So, if you don't like spoilers and don't want to know what I am planning next, don't listen to these episodes. Though, I will say, if you do listen, you'll be able to see how and where the players throw a wrench into my plans, and you're also going to have greater insight into the world that's being built into this campaign. Finally, we want you to record yourself doing your best on Critical Hit and send it to us at podcast@majorspoilers.com, and your voice will join the growing chorus of fans in upcoming episodes as well. Thank you again for listening this week, and here's hoping all of your dice rolls are critical hits.
This podcast is copyright 2025 by Major Spoilers Entertainment, LLC.